Juicy J. Let's rage.
You were gonna come to me, and here you are, but you better choose carefully. 'Cause I'm capable of anything,
What's up, everybody? It is Friday, June the 27th, and you are watching the Daily Fantasy MLB show on InsidersTV, sponsored by the wonderful folks there at FantasyElite, the app that you can get in the App Store. I'm supposed to play Tommy. Every time I ask Tommy if he wants to play a game today, he basically goes into a BVP conversation, and I'm about to drive to Jersey, Miami, wherever he is, and just pin him down and make him draft against me. So in that Elite Cup, Cardi, you've got a matchup against Bird Wings.
Yep.
And Leone is on a bachelor party today, so he's not on the show. And that means that we're basically stuck with Davis.
It's going to get real nerdy.
And Derek. So, no Laffy, no Leone. It's back to the D's. So, Davis.
Everyone involved with Fantasy Insiders, other than Steve and Ben, their name starts with a D.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. All the cool guys. Davis, as far as pitchers that you're on tonight, let's just start right there. Who you with?
I think Madison Bumgarner is the guy that I'm going to start off with. The best hitters in Cincinnati's lineup are left-handed in Joey Votto and Jay Bruce, and they're outside of their normal confines of Great American Ballpark, which is one of the best hitting ballparks in baseball. At AT&T, huge outfield, all of that, and Joey Votto's never hit a home run. I refuse to believe that he's ever hit a home run. So
I love that Davis is on the Great American Ballpark as an awesome hitter's ballpark train now.
it's because Mike Morse hit a home run when I took him there. So once it happened to me, I was like all in about it being a great hitter's park. Yeah,
and that's all you need. It's just some anecdotal evidence, and then perfect.
Davis' favorite evidence is his personal bankroll. That's what we found out last night.
I mean, David laughs about that, but yeah, absolutely. If it works for me, that means it works. Yeah. So I think Bumgarner is my guy. I don't know if he has an incredibly high ceiling, because I do think we were talking about this on the group Skype chat before the show, but I don't think you can comfortably project either him or Cueto for the win, which really matters on FanDuel. And there are a lot of really solid starting pitching options, but I think Bumgarner is the one guy who I have across multiple sites, and I'm not trying to switch exposure up to.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's tough when you have a pitcher who's going up against another really good pitcher, because the win is kind of going to be up in the air a little bit. But I think Bumgarner is going to be my guy. I think he projects the best against the offense. He's at home in a good park. He has the platoon advantage against, the two good hitters, like you said. I think Bumgarner is my guy. Although there are tons of other options tonight, especially for DraftKings and Draft Street lineups. There's a lot of ways you can go.
Yeah, and I mean, part of the thing is I do look at other sites and look at their content, and then look at our guys and all of that. But before all that, I look at my own. And Ryu was the guy that I was really looking at when I started looking at prices and stuff last night. And basically, no one is on Ryu anywhere, so I kind of feel like I'm on an island with him. Are you on him at all? He's pretty cheap across the board.
Yeah, I like Ryu. I don't think he's next in line for me, but he's definitely in the conversation. He's going to be, a top probably 3 or 4 guy for me today. I think I like Tyson Ross probably better. We don't have a lineup there yet. And Jesse Chavez I really like, going over into the National League, into an awesome park against a team that's not very good, and a team that he's going to have the platoon advantage against basically everybody.
Yeah, and they don't have Saltalamacchia in, which definitely matters, because Saltalamacchia is a good hitter, and Jeff Mathis is very much not a good hitter.
By Marlins hitters' considerations, he's a good hitter. He's a big upgrade over Mathis, for sure.
He's pretty good, right?
He's all right. I mean,
Saltamaki he's a 2-WAR player.
All right.
Yeah, okay. Jeff Mathis is very
All right.
much
Well,
not.
Jeff Mathis is awful. We can agree on that, and
Yeah.
that bodes well for Jesse Chavez.
Yeah, and no Yelich, so Reed Johnson will be leading off. The guys you're worried about in terms of platoon are only 2 hitters have the platoon, Dietrich and Garrett Jones. I mean, obviously, we talked about it last night. Obviously, Hamels was going to have the David Price start, and that's exactly what he did. He gave up a ton of he gave up solo shots. He gave up 3 of them, but other than that,
shots.
he was great all game, and it was super frustrating because the Phillies pinch hit for him when he was at 98 pitches. They pinch hit with him with Tony Gwynn Jr., who laid down a bunt. Like, Cole Hamels could have gone in and laid down a bunt.
Unless they just decided that they didn't want him to pitch anyway, and then Gwynn is a better bunter. But
probably
it was frustrating to see.
Probably a faster runner too, if you think.
Yeah.
You think so?
If you want to beat out the bunt,
and then potentially score once you're on for. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Look, I wanted Hamels to pitch another inning. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just going from my personal experience. I'm typically faster than the pitcher whenever I play in my softball games. So, Davis, what does your shirt say? Escapist?
Yeah, it's a skate shop in Kansas City.
Cool. I didn't know what it said, so I just was curious.
Yep.
As far as Chavez, did you guys read the Cyrus piece on him and the grips that he's using?
I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, I haven't yet. It's on my my Apple reading list.
It was pretty cool because he actually showed me and Steve the pictures on his phone and was talking about it when we were at the Oakland game last week.
Steve had such a chub.
Oh man, Steve's like, "Wait, this is your phone? you use his phone?"
Yeah.
So yeah.
That was about where it was.
Yeah. So yeah,
I wanted to talk about a cheap guy though. I want to talk about Trevor Bauer. Basically, because I don't understand Trevor Bauer. Like, literally every time he pitches, I just think he's a crazy person. His delivery is, it's just ridiculous, and he throws super hard. And sometimes it'll look like guys have no chance against him, and then other times, like his start against the Indians, he goes out and gets absolutely shelled. It's the Mariners tonight. A lot of them are going to have the platoon advantage on him. They are a very lefty-heavy lineup, but he's 11K on Draft Street. I don't really see how you can get away from that price tag.
I think the way you get away from that price tag is that Carlos Martinez.
You're going to say Brandon McCarthy. Okay, never mind.
McCarthy's an option too, but Carlos Martinez is I think just over 10K on Draft Street. And there's concerns there because he's still working his pitch count up. Like, he might only throw I think he threw 76 pitches last time, so he might only pitch 90 today. But I think he sets up really well, and he's so cheap. And even though his numbers aren't that great this year, his stuff is really good.
Yeah, it's very good, but if a guy goes 4 innings, that's miserable for you.
Yeah. But again, as a 10K third pitcher on Draft Street, I mean, I would almost rather risk it than a potential blow up from a guy in that price range.
But doesn't Bauer have even more upside because he could?
Bauer's got upside too.
Bauer could K 12 and 6 innings rather than K'ing 10 and 4.
He could. I don't know if I love the matchup though. I mean, Seattle's so left-handed.
Seattle's so terrible.
Seattle wrecked Boston in Seattle.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that series. I had Iwakuma. It was terrible.
Well, yeah, not the third game, but the first 2. I mean, their lefty bats aren't bad.
I mean, I just think
analysis.
I'm a big Trevor Bauer fanboy. I think Trevor Bauer's really good. So that's probably part of it here, and I assume Derek's maybe kind of that way with Carlos Martinez.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of the season-long guys are... Ben was high on him, too. It seems like a lot of the people that maybe liked him for season-long. I mean, how long do you think he's going to go? Does he have a limited pitch count?
Well, he pitched, I think 74 last time, and then 60 or 59 or something like that the start before. So He's been going up 15 pitches a start. So I figure if they'd keep doing that, he's probably got 90 pitches in him tonight. So, I mean, how much, longevity he can get out of that is kind of up in the air. But I don't think it's impossible. He goes 5 innings, or maybe even 6 maybe is a stretch. But I think 5, there's a decent enough chance that he gets there.
Yeah, I don't hate Carlos Martinez. I just like Bauer more.
Yeah, I don't know what I would just. You've got the Dodgers that are favored, unless Martinez is just like dirt cheap. Like what is he on Draft Street?
10K.
Still, you talk about a guy who might not even go 5 innings. I just don't think that you can risk it. I'd rather pay up for pitching a little bit on Draft Street.
Well, then I think a middle ground is Brandon McCarthy.
Yeah, I don't like Brandon McCarthy. We do this every time he pitches, where he gets written up as the long shot option, and people like him as a sleeper, and look at the xFIP, and then he goes out and gets shelled.
Yeah, but I mean, it's only been I don't know, not that long. He's still a pretty good pitcher. His peripherals are still good. His peripherals are actually incredible. And the matchup today is incredible. So for how cheap he is, I mean, the only thing that's working against him is that Tyson Ross is the opposing pitcher.
And Vegas definitely agrees. You look at the total line at 6.5. I mean, it's in a pitcher's park, so I would definitely prefer a guy like McCarthy over Martinez. And if you're looking on FanDuel, I mean, I want to hear your theory. I want to hear your Tyson Ross love, if any, Derek.
I like Tyson Ross. I mean, do we have an Arizona lineup yet? Last I checked, there was not one.
No, I have not seen it. But, I mean, they are slight favorites, and you do have a line that's under 7. I mean, it's a 6.5 over-under.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Vegas is smarter than you, Davis. I don't know when you're not... You don't think that that's true, but they are very...
When have I ever said I'm not smarter than Vegas?
When you're always like, I'm going to bet so much because I'm so much smarter than Vegas is.
I mean, I did just get USA plus 900 to advance, so...
That was a patriotic move, though.
Yeah, it was.
All right, anyways, back to Tyson Ross.
I
want to hear your both of your opinions on it.
So this is my thing with Tyson Ross, is that he is really reliant on his slider. And from what I can understand from sort of trying to study pitching these last couple weeks, is that guys who rely on any sort of breaking pitch or secondary pitch as one of their primary pitches, they can sort of be volatile from start to start. We saw him against the Phillies. He threw 60% of his pitches as the slider, and he was dominant. Well, then we saw him do the same thing to the Mariners and get absolutely destroyed because the slider wasn't working that night. And I don't like to take guys who, especially in cash games, who I view as volatile. I would really prefer Chavez over Ross, just because I think Chavez is safer.
I think I would agree with that. I think I'd go Chavez over Ross, but I do think Ross is in a pretty good position. I mean, the slider, he only uses it 35% of the time, so... It's not like it's a huge thing, although he is going to have the platoon advantage against a lot of their guys, and the slider is a pitch you're going to use more against righties than you are against lefties as a right-handed pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it bumps up to 45% of the time or 50% of the time using it. So, I mean, there's some risk if the slider isn't on. But I think he's a good enough pitcher, and I think the matchup is good enough where he definitely has to be in the conversation. I mean, he's got home field advantage. It's an awesome park, platoon advantage against all the good guys, against Goldie and against basically everyone except Montero and Inciarte or whoever.
Yeah, for sure. Tyson Ross is a good pitcher. I don't mean to say that he's not, but there's a difference between a guy being a good pitcher and someone that you want to use in cash games, I think.
I'm with you. I mean, I'm taking Chavez over Ross in cash games if that's, the two that it comes down to.
Okay. And we haven't talked about Cueto at all. He's the most expensive pitcher on every single site, basically. So we basically said we both liked Bumgarner, but why is it so clear? Is it just a price thing? Is there anything you see concerning about the Giants lineup?
Well, I think the Giants, are a pretty good hitting lineup in general. Cueto, the park is good, but he's losing the home field advantage, and he's up against Bumgarner, who I think projects better against, the lineup he's facing than Cueto does.
Yeah, and that's completely fair.
I don't think there's any reason to pay up for Cueto when Bumgarner projects better than he does.
Okay, let's see. Let me pull up the lineups page and see if there's anyone else that we need to talk about. Probably not. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
You got Schumacher, who.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Derek, you want to talk about Schumacher, your boy?
No, I'm not on Schumacher tonight. He doesn't have a good enough matchup.
What about Verlander at 7,700? I mean, has he just lost it? Like, they are slight favorites, but there is a high line. He obviously has struggled. It's like, at what point do you take a flyer on him with his salary dropping so low? Is he going to get, over under on strikeouts? What would you put it at, Derek, tonight?
I guess
I'd put it at 7.
7?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Astros strike out. He might get.
The Astros just strike out a lot.
They strike out a lot, and if he's giving up runs, he's going to face a lot of batters.
If you think Verlander is striking out 7 batters, then he should probably be your cash game play tonight.
Stop it. What are you talking about?
I think I take the under on 7, but I'd probably set it at like 6. And then I think that's...
Yeah, I'd set it at 5.
He has a decent shot of getting there.
I'd set it at 5.5. But if he gets 7 strikeouts, then...
then he'll still probably not have that many points because he's still going to give up runs and hits and walks.
Yeah, Batman, for what it's worth, has him with a little over 6.5 strikeouts, but more runs than anyone else in his kind of stratosphere there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So stack Stros tonight then, huh?
It's stack Stros every night.
I knew you were going to say that. All right. Let's move on then past the pitchers into the conversation of hitters. Catchers that you like tonight, Derek?
Give me a second. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know we were going to talk about hitters tonight. Come on. This is coming out of nowhere.
Davis.
All right. Obviously, Jonathan Lucroy has got to be your top guy. He's at home, platoon advantage. Tyler Matzik is absolutely awful. So Lucroy, where you can fit him into your lineup, you do it. I think he's far enough ahead of everyone else where that's where you want to go. But I think if you want a cheaper guy, I feel like I'm on him like every single day now, but the matchup is always good for Dioner Navarro. Like this week, I think I've owned him like 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
But against John Danks at home, he's batting cleanup tonight, it looks like. So,
yeah, I actually don't like Dioner Navarro, but batting 4th against Danks, like he's like auto inserted into all my lineups, especially because Jason's not in the lineup today.
Yeah. Sorry. Catchers, other catchers that you like, Davis?
I mean, it was going to be Salta Lamacchia for me, but he's also not in the lineup.
Salty and Jaso are out. So other than Navarro and Lucroy, who do we like? Nobody.
Those are you're either paying up or going cheap with Navarro. IMHO.
Yeah, I think those are kind of your options. I mean, there's other guys like Gaddis is always going to be a good play, especially he's getting a park boost today. But if you're paying up, I think you pay up for Lucroy instead of him, and if you're not, I think you go with Navarro.
All right, what about Castro?
I think Castro's a decent play, especially if you're stacking Astros. He's probably going to be one of your better Astros to stack, although, why are they batting him 6th?
I was about to say, why is he batting 6th?
Yeah.
Because the rest of their lineup is so good.
It's also so right-handed. He's good himself. Like, put him 4, of the very least 5.
Yeah, I don't know why he's not batting in front of Dominguez.
Whoa, Singleton up to the 3-hole. That's pretty cool. That team's going to be really good in a couple of years.
All right, past. So no other. I'm trying to look at on our lineups page for punt plays. Not even seeing very many punt plays.
No, like guys that
catcher
I normally
is
like
pretty,
for like turn.
Yeah.
tournament options like Mike Zanino. Like he's like 3K now. He's like expensive.
You've got Derek's crush boy Avila, who is batting 8th, but his salary's still like, I mean, if you're gonna punt, you want to punt, and there's no.
You only take Avila when he's against like a super bad pitcher, and Peacock has gotten a lot better this year.
He has. And Avila, it's just hard when he's batting 8th. If they would bat him higher in the order, it would be easier to play him. I mean, I would almost rather George Kataris against Chris Young with the platoon advantage batting at the bottom of the order.
George Kataris is in the lineup?
Oh, actually, sorry. Lineup not in yet for that game.
Okay,
So,
if George Kataris is in the lineup, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that dude.
Yeah, so he probably won't be playing. Never mind then.
Yeah, but if he is, though, George Kataris is like seriously a great play every single time he is in the lineup.
McCann 3,600 on DraftKings, 2,900 on FanDuel.
Navarro.
Yeah, how does that compare to Navarro? Navarro's like 3K on FanDuel, right?
Navarro is less expensive on every site than McCann.
Navarro went up, I feel like, the past couple days.
He's 3,200 on DraftKings, so 400 less, and he is the same price on FanDuel. So on FanDuel, would you have Navarro or McCann?
I like them both, but I take Navarro.
I'd go McCann.
But why?
Hashtag pretty good spots.
Hashtag batting
How is
fourth.
Navarro not in a pretty good spot? He's in the Rogers Center, his home stadium, against John Danks.
Batting cleanup instead of
Batting
sixth.
cleanup.
Yeah, David.
Thoughts about switch hitting power against guys that are specifically handed, Cardi?
It depends. I forget what Navarro. I think is a little. He tilts one way. Let me look. I think it's probably he hits lefties better than. Oh no, he's pretty neutral actually. So I mean that plays a part. It's better, obviously, a guy with a dedicated handedness like McCann, but I think that it kind of gets overruled on a day like today when the matchup is better.
All right, so I'm playing Navarro over McCann, then, is what you're telling me.
And especially since McCann's a lefty, like he gets a platoon advantage a lot of the time. Like if McCann was like a righty who didn't, then he gets a little bit more of a boost than a lefty would.
Fair enough. I'm just trying to present some sort of talking points. Second base.
Second base. I think second base is the same as it was last night, where it's if you're playing a cash game, put Ricky Weeks in your lineup, or you're going to regret it.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I feel bad for you if you don't play Ricky Weeks. And, like, of course he's going to go 0 for 4 tonight, but it's still the right play.
It is, because even if he goes 0 for 4, he's going 0 for 4 for you and for everyone else. And if he goes off, like, there's a good chance he will, like he did last night, then, you're not at a huge disadvantage for not having played him.
Yeah. For tournaments, I like Howie Kendrick. I know that Jason Vargas is definitely like a better pitcher than anyone wants to give him credit for, but I definitely think that the Angels lineup gets to him tonight. They're just a really talented offensive lineup. He's batting 5th. I think that's a hashtag pretty good spot for him.
Okay, my punt is he's got to be cheap. Alberto Callaspo is batting 2nd against DeSclafani tonight. Switch hitter, but that means he's going to have the platoon advantage no matter what. The park isn't great, but batting 2nd for a good Oakland team for cheap, I mean, you can do worse than that.
Yeah. So we need to talk about Dustin Pedroia. So basically every single time he faces a left-handed pitcher, everyone is all over Dustin Pedroia. But he's also been hurt the entire season. Like, you're not going to see anything official on him. But I saw, I think Scott Pianowski and Eno Saris were talking about it today. And so he had the wrist trouble last year. He's had to miss some time this year because of something going on with his wrist or thumb or something like that. And it's not being constantly updated. And Dink is in G-Chat telling me how I'm wrong about this. But I do think that there's something off with him, basically. I do think that something in his hand/wrist, something like that, is bothering him, and I still think Ricky Weeks is the play.
I completely agree. Ricky Weeks is the play. I don't even think a healthy Pedroia is as good of a play as everyone thinks he is. Yankee Stadium is a good hitter's park, but it's not that good for. It's much better for left-handers than it is for right-handers. Like, it's actually not that big of a boost over Fenway Park for righties.
And I watched Dustin Pedroia hit a home run in person like a week and a half ago. So yeah, he can still do it, but I just think Weeks is a better play than him in every format.
I agree. Even price insensitive, I think Weeks is a better play tonight.
Yeah. Okay. David?
Shortstop.
Jose Reyes or Xander Bogaerts, I think. Bogaerts is batting 7th, which really sucks, but you're getting, like, that's priced into what you're paying for him now. He's 4.7 on Draft Street, 2.6 on FanDuel, and I guess he's 4.1 on DraftKings, so you would auto-play Reyes there instead. Are you on board with those two options, Derek?
I'm trying to see, is Bogarts in the lineup tonight?
Yeah, he's batting 7th.
Batting 7th?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that really
I don't know.
sucks.
I don't think these these Red Sox. I know a lot of people are on the Red Sox righties tonight against Nunez, and I mean they're in a pretty good spot. But
No,
I don't
they're in a
think,
hashtag pretty good spot.
yeah, but like
Nuno sucks.
emphasis on the pretty good. It's not like a really good spot. I
think stacking against Nuno is the way, like, really. So I play like last time he pitched, Hardy, Steve Pearce, Cruz, and Adam Jones all hit a home run off of him. He's bad.
He is bad. I like Reyes better for sure. I'm completely on board with the Reyes play. I think Andrelton Simmons is a decent, cheaper option. He's batting 2nd tonight.
2,200 on FanDuel. I just now
Yeah,
noticed that.
super cheap. He's getting a big park boost. He doesn't have the platoon advantage, but Kyle Kendrick is a bad pitcher. So I kind of like Simmons tonight. And then, of course, Segura has to be in the conversation, although batting 8th is far from ideal.
Yeah, and this is weird. We haven't mentioned any Braves yet, but yeah, Kyle Kendrick does really suck.
We mentioned Gaddis earlier just in passing.
Yeah, I mean, Gaddis is a good play. It's just he's not Lucroy. And
what are
Okay.
Kendrick's splits, Cardi? Because right now the Braves only have 2 lefty bats in the lineup.
Wow, how have I not put Freddie Freeman in any lineups yet? This is like a huge failure.
Yeah, he would
on
be
my part.
he would be 1, and then Hayward batting 5th would be the other.
I've got Kendrick with a below-average split, like a smaller split than most pitchers.
But not reverse splits.
No, very rarely will I have a guy with a true reverse split because very rarely do those things actually exist.
Yeah.
Oh, such a troll.
All right, fair enough. We'll save that for another day when Cardi can
We'll
explain.
save that for my entire life with Derek Carty.
Oh man! All right, so we talked about the punt positions. Let's talk about first base and third base. Who do you like at first base, Davis? You just said Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, but Brandon Moss is the top play because DeScalfani is so bad, and like I don't think that there's a big park shift at all because O.co is so big. So I don't think it's anything that you need to like really worry about.
Yeah, it's a small loss, but it's not that big because O.co is really a pitcher's park anyway. So I don't think Moss is like my top guy. Like Edwin, obviously tonight has to be. I don't even think it's close between him and the next guy against Danks at home, platoon advantage. Danks being terrible.
Encarnacion is like
lineup.
ridiculously expensive.
He is, but if you're gonna pay up for a first baseman, I mean, I don't think I would really fault you for it. But I do like Moss.
I think
I do like Freeman.
Napoli is the guy that I'm using a lot because he's super cheap. Like relative to like what his projection would be tonight. Because I would put him close to Moss in terms of what I would expect out of my guys, and he is significantly cheaper on a couple sites.
The thing I like, or the thing that I have against, I know a lot of people seem to be on Red Sox today. The thing with them is the Red Sox kind of have like one part of a good matchup going in their favor, whereas a lot of guys have 2. Like, they're up against a bad pitcher with the platoon advantage, but the park shift is, like, very minimal. Whereas, like, a guy, I don't know, like Freeman. I mean, he has a platoon advantage against a bad pitcher, and he's getting a big park bump. So it's like, I don't know. I have a hard time picking a guy like Napoli, even though he's cheaper. I still don't think he's as good of a play as.
But Nuno is so bad, though.
Nuno is bad. He is bad, but so are a lot of these other guys that are going today. Like, I don't know. Pujols is probably still in that price range, right? Like against Jason Vargas today, like I don't know.
But Kansas City, dude, that park is huge.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not on board the Red Sox train today. I think they have a good matchup, but not a great one. I think there's better matchups out there.
When Derek Carty says maybe I'm wrong, you know you have him thinking.
I want to know, Davis, where you see Napoli being significantly. I mean, from everywhere I've checked, except for Draft Street, it's around the same tag for Freeman, and Moss.
I was mostly thinking on Draft Street. He is just like a smidge cheaper though, and that might matter with all the pitching options tonight.
On Draft Street?
Well, no, everywhere he's just like a little bit cheaper.
It's not everywhere.
I think if for whatever reason you want to punt first base tonight, even though there's all these options,
say Carlos Pena.
Carlos Pena.
Don't say it.
I'm saying it, Carlos Pena. He's batting third. He's playing at home in Arlington. Kevin Correa is awful. He's a ground ball pitcher, which we know they tend to sometimes leave the ball up. And if he does, Pena knows how to make that mistake turn into a home run.
He definitely hit one out the other night, and we and the Skype chat, we were doing double takes to see if that was really him.
I mean, he could just as easily go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, but I mean that's why he's a punt.
Didn't somebody play him in a game versus Steve the other day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
it is if it's true.
It is true.
Yeah. You have Moss, who's 200 more than Napoli. Give me Moss any day. Freeman on FanDuel. Freeman's actually cheaper than Napoli on FanDuel. And
question them.
On DraftKings, you've got Napoli and Moss the same exact price, and Freeman $200 more. So they're around the same tag. So I just wanted to point that out for people listening. Third base, though, who do we like?
Aramis. Don't do anything else. Honestly, we can mention other guys, but it won't. I haven't looked at any other third base options.
Okay.
Maybe I'll mention someone else just because I feel like we owe that to people, but Aramis is definitely the top guy tonight.
Yes, please mention somebody else.
You could do that.
I'll mention Adrian Beltre just as an alternative, expensive option because I think he has a really good matchup too, at home. His platoon splits are smaller than most hitters are. Correa is pretty bad. I think if you're looking for a cheap, puntier option, I think Connor Gillespie. We seem to mention him quite a bit, but he's batting third in the Rogers Center against Dickey.
Brock Holt, dude. Lefty.
I love that we made puntier a word. A puntier option. But yeah, I was looking...
What does the weather look like in Toronto? Because that kind of affects the way Dickey's knuckleball moves. Let me take a look.
Isn't it a dome? The Rogers Center?
Is it going to be closed? I mean, it's not always closed.
I don't know. The lineups page says it's blowing out to left field 5 to 10 miles per hour.
It looks like, kind of neutral.
Someone from the chat knows. All right. So no other really third baseman, no cheap third baseman that you like. Tollison for the Blue Jays. Talked about the Blue Jays against Danks. Batting 6th.
That's a good punt. I can get on board with that.
Okay. Davis, can you get on board? Can you vibe with that?
Yeah, I'll take any what am I trying to say? I'll take any Blue Jay tonight.
Wheeler, who was it last night that said you don't have to worry about Wheeler? Or was it 2 days ago?
It was somebody though. Like
somebody said it.
Well, somebody said it, and then that somebody took Willie Peralta as his second starting pitcher on DraftKings.
Yeah.
That happened.
Somebody also noticed that Wheeler had a grand slam that night. Oh, man. Analysis. Gotta love it. All right, so let's move on to outfield. As I was looking at that Tolson play, pulling up the...
Yeah, I know what you're about to say.
What?
No, you say it.
Glenn.
You get to do it.
You got Glenn, 2K, on DraftKings. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, like that's an auto play.
Who?
I don't know. Glenn.
Oh, Glenn?
Brad Glenn, batting fifth.
All I know is his name is Glenn, and he's 2K. He's batting fifth for the Blue Jays.
On DraftKings, that is an auto play.
I've never heard of Brad Glenn.
Well, you don't have to.
For 2K, I mean...
Oh, let's look up his
All right.
Oh, he's fine. He has like a career 190-ish ISO in the minors, so I'm on board.
I mean, at 2K, it's really hard to complain. A guy hitting, that is a good spot for a 2K hitter. Dink says he's crazy good versus lefties. Good call, Soccer Dave. You're the man. When chimes are rude says doesn't seem to be always updated, but when it is, it's sweet. Talking about is the roof open.com. So
it looks like it's going to be open today, and it looks like it's not ideal knuckleball weather. Ideal knuckleball weather, I'm pretty sure, is like high wind, high humidity, which is not really what's going on today. So
Jordan mentions that Glenn is 3K on FanDuel, and so yeah, we would agree with the wave there. All right, talking about stacks, we've discussed Boston, we've discussed Toronto. Any
Milwaukee?
other major stacks?
Yeah, no, the Brewers are the number one team.
The Brewers have to be your number one stack.
I'm legitimately terrified to not play four of them. Like, it's really hard to do, but I'm like legitimately scared to not play four of them.
It's difficult besides weeks. Like on DraftKings, on FanDuel, you can get Ramirez in at 3,600. I think he's a lock, but I mean, you look at 2 through 4, they're all 4,400. Braun, Lucroy, and Gomez. Like, that's expensive for those positions. Like,
yeah, it is. That's the problem with Brewers is I never have enough of them. I never have enough exposure to them because they're so expensive. And even though they're in good matchups, like there isn't a whole lot of value upside on them just because they're so expensive.
You can play Mark Reynolds if you wanted to get crazy.
You can play freaking McCarthy if you want to get crazy. 5,300, then roster all of the expensive Brewers that you wanted to on FanDuel. That's a GPP play.
I think if you want a cheaper stack, I think there are some pretty good Texas bets you could look at. I know Davis is like completely against that. He said he hasn't played a Texas bet in I don't know how long.
I played them the last time. Prince Fielder was still like active the last time I played a Ranger.
But I mean, they're at home. Correa is pretty terrible. They have, they have some lefties. You Chu, who has a huge, hits righties so much better. Beltre doesn't have a very big split. Pena's a lefty. I know you hate Pena, but if you're doing a stack, I think Texas is kind of like an underrated GPP stack.
Yeah, I don't really have any problem with that.
Fair enough. And it also seems that this is like a night where Oakland's going to score 11 runs. Like, no one's really going to be targeting them to stack, but it's just like when you don't target Oakland to stack is when they score the most runs.
I could get on board with an Oakland stack. I think an Anaheim stack works too. I think an Anaheim stack actually looks really good because they're all going to have the platoon advantage.
Yeah.
Davis was saying that Kauffman isn't a good park, but it's not like Angel Stadium
Petco.
is really... No, it's not. It's a pitcher's park for sure, like a relatively extreme one. But Angels Park is a pitcher's park too, so it's not like it's like a huge drop off for them. And Vargas is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Chandler WH says Melky, Jacoby, or Chris Davis.
Chris Davis?
Crush.
Yeah, like if price isn't a question, it's easily, yeah.
Over Ellsbury?
Yeah,
Yes.
over Ellsbury. I like Ellsbury too, but Davis is definitely the play.
He's
And
finally gonna hit a home run when he's in my lineup. I think like 2 of his 14 home runs this season have come while I've played him, and I've definitely played him every single time against left-handed pitching.
another question: Seth Smith is better than Josh Reddick tonight, right?
Yeah. Josh Reddick's batting like 8th. I'm not crazy about Seth Smith either. I'd rather play like Gerard or Parra, but yeah, Seth Smith's not a terrible option.
Well, do we have a Padres lineup out either? I mean, I'm guessing Smith's going to be in there, but
Honestly, I think I probably take. I don't know. I think it's close. I think I might lean Reddick. No, Smith. But I'm not really big on either tonight.
Well, Smith will be batting like 3rd.
Yeah, Smith is bad. Oh no, not out yet. But yeah, that's where he'll
Oh
bat.
my God, Bauer's gonna get destroyed. I might need to take him out. They're
What's the
running
lineup?
out. They're running out the 8 lefty lineup.
yeah, Zunino the only righty in that lineup. Just noticed that. Chavez Jones is in the hashtag pretty good spot. Cano Seager, who's been crushing it. Lomo, then Zunino, then Saunders, Ackley, and Miller. So
Yeah, that's a tough lineup to play Bauer against.
that will be a fun lineup. So you're basically on the side of McCarthy now over Bauer for a GPP pitcher on FanDuel, right, Davis? Right?
I guess.
Yes. That was a decisive yes.
I'm gonna do something I like rarely ever do on Draft Street, and I'm gonna split in cash games between Bauer and McCarthy. I think. Oh, we didn't mention him, but my boy CJ Crone is in a hashtag pretty good spot tonight. That's my under the radar dong is CJ Crone versus Vargas.
He's batting 7th.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter where you're batting if you're gonna hit a home run.
Well, you said he's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, he's in a hashtag pretty good spot because he's gonna hit a home run.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure that's how the hashtag pretty good spot works, but for anecdotal evidence.
But if you know he's gonna hit a home run, then like it's fine.
Right. That's just like he's going to hit a home run. It's not like he's in a pretty good spot because he's not really in that great of a spot.
Okay, he's in a hashtag home run spot then.
Okay. Just say the hashtag, I think he's going to hit a home run tonight.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Fair enough. Guys that you think are going to home run automatically. Probably an obvious one for you, Cardi, would be...
My obvious one is E5. I mean, it's just
he's
just
so
in a
expensive tonight.
hashtag awesome spot.
Yeah, like you just can't roster him. He's like up at Miggy levels now. You can't roster him. But
yeah, it's hard. Yeah, but I mean, he's definitely the guy that I would be calling my dong with.
Not sure what that means. Can you give us another obvious?
Another obvious?
Yeah.
How about I don't know. Like how obvious can we go? Like
No, like anybody except for E5. Like you can go Brewers if you want.
I wasn't even really thinking Brewers. I mean, like just like another like pretty expensive like first baseman like Davis or Miggy or someone. How about Evan Gattis?
Okay, fair enough. Davis?
Chris Davis. Crush Davis.
Yeah, I'll go with...
This is fascinating. Good for the listeners, by the way.
They want to know who's going to home run. I'll take Freddie Freeman. Under the radar would be... Go Pena, Cardi. Go Pena.
I can't go Pena.
Yeah, you can.
He's way too under the radar.
No. There's
how
no
about
such...
Reynolds? Is he far enough, or is he because he's a Brewer?
Yeah,
he
you can go
doesn't
Reynolds. But I would rather you go Pena. And that would be so swaggy that it would just fit your style.
I can't.
All right, fine. Davis?
CJ Crone.
You got to pick somebody else.
Chase Utley.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
That's an interesting one. I'm going to go with Glenn.
Yeah, we didn't
Oh, man. Darn it.
Oh gosh, got you guys so good. I got you so good.
You really did.
All right, so guys that you're going to regret playing tonight. I'm guessing it's going to be pitchers again, unless you're fading some big bats in Milwaukee. Cardi?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably regret not having enough Milwaukee exposure just because they're so expensive. I also might regret. I'm probably going to end up with Carlos Martinez on Draft Street as my third pitcher. So, I mean, if he goes 4 innings, then
You will regret that. I mean,
Yeah.
I would rather just take.
I-
I would rather take a relief pitcher in a hashtag really good spot and get the same amount of points.
How do you determine hashtag really good spots for relief pitchers?
You obviously don't read the relief pitcher of the day in the Daily Diamond that we produce.
Nope, but I did get the Melanson save last night.
did we talk about Tehran at all and how he should be faded tonight? I feel like his name didn't come up even once until
No,
Davis
we
just
didn't.
mentioned Utley.
No, we didn't, because I started off the day with him as my starting pitcher everywhere, and then I looked at it a little bit more, and I was like, he doesn't throw hard, and he doesn't get that many whiffs. Why do I want to take this guy?
You want to fade him tonight, yeah. I mean, he's a good pitcher, but not a good spot.
All right. So basically, relief pitcher of the day. Do you know who it is?
I do not.
All right, I'll give this one. I'll give this one away for free. Okay. So this one's how we like to say on the house. Houston Street.
Oh, yeah, he hasn't pitched in over a week.
That means that he's hashtag in a pretty good spot. So Street has been a beast this year with a pristine .96 ERA. He has a 99% strand rate,
Going, yeah.
which is almost as good as his 99.5% rate last season. So Street has decent price on Draft Street, but I don't think you'll need to use him with the cheap quality starters out there. He also agrees with you, Cardi, about the long shot pitcher of the day. So
Being
Carlos Martinez.
okay. Makes me feel a little better.
Team Carlos, as Steve likes to say. Steve loves everybody named Carlos except for Carlos Gonzalez.
Carlos Mencia, I hope.
No, it's Carlos Gonzalez.
He hates Carlos
Oh, he
Gonzalez.
hates Carlos Gonzalez.
Yeah. What about Gregory Polanco? Any love today?
I don't. We kind of skipped through outfielders, but yeah, Polanco's in all my lineups. I love him versus DeGrom tonight.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think DeGrom is a decent enough pitcher, and it's a bad park, but I don't hate Polanco. I don't think he's going to be in all my lineups, but I mean, maybe he'll be a consideration.
All right, going back to outfielders. We did talk about a little. We talked about Chu. Like, I know that Batman's got him ranked really high today.
Yep.
So
And it makes sense why. It's just, I mean, he's at home in a great park against a terrible pitcher. His true platoon split is just enormous. He's batting leadoff. So, I mean, Chu is in a really great spot. It feels like every time I play him, he doesn't do much. Because I played him last night, and he did nothing.
well, that means that he is due tonight.
Yep, that's how anecdotes
Yep,
work.
you need to learn how non-advanced metrics work, Derek. To be honest, because that's how it works. If your guy doesn't do good, then just play him again the next night because he's due.
I need to figure out a way to code that into this thing.
Jordan says, "Is Mike Trout worth 10K on Draft Street?" Jordan, why is that even
No.
a question?
Yeah, because you just play Braun instead.
Trout is the top overall outfielder tonight for sure, but he's not worth 10K.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would agree with that. All right, guys. We'll end that a little bit sooner than we normally do, and just say that on Monday we'll have our regular guest. This week has just been one big cluster mess. You know, you've got. I don't think we may have had one show that was like the originally scheduled people, and that was Wednesday's show with Cardi and Tuttle and Davis. But other than that, it was all messed up. So on Monday, we'll be back with Dave Loughran and Mr. Tuttle 05 and Derek Cardi. So Hope that you guys, if you're playing in any big tournaments tonight, that you take them down. Also, make sure to tune in. Hopefully, I'll be posting my victory over Tommy at some point when he decides to show his face. And, we'll be around playing on Fantasy Elite if you want to grab some games. It's pretty fun. That will do it for today, guys. Appreciate it, and we'll see you on Monday. Later.